Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Danielle and I'm from Cageless Readings. So today we're doing another What Do You Need to Hear Today pick a card reading. I've done this topic a few times over the last week, but I just feel like it's like the best thing to ask when there's a few different themes going on for the collective. That way each pile really gets the reading around what they're needing to hear. So that being said, we have 3 piles to choose from. I have first the Mini Angel Aura Quartz. Pile 2 is this piece of lilac lepidolite. Sorry, I always feel like I say that a little bit off. And then we have pile 3 here, the large piece of Angel Aura Quartz. I know it's funny that I chose 2 Angel Aura's quartz, but I just really felt like this was the stone to choose. So there is 2 pieces, the mini piece and the large piece here. So that being said, if you need a few more minutes with the piles, please take it now. If you need to take a few grounding breaths before selecting, also feel free to pause the video and do that. Otherwise, I will see you in your pick a card readings. Hello, pile 1. So you chose the Mini Angel Aura Quartz. We'll just put that right here. We do have Millie being a little bit of a distraction already. But what would this card reading channel be without cats? So energy we have you in. As I was pulling cards, I couldn't help but notice how chaotically they were all falling out and kind of like all falling upside down, sideways. It was just a bit of a mess as I was just trying to shuffle a few cards. And the last card I pulled was Shapeshifter in reverse. So you might be someone who is trying their best to kind of do it all, be it all. I do feel like this pile most likely has children or has a family system, so it could just be parents you're trying to help out who might be elderly or who might have some health problems right now, or you could just be someone trying to juggle a lot of things in your life. But I do feel like overall there's just an energy of trying to hold it all together, but really starting to feel like it's a bit of an impossible task right now. So that being said, let's look at the guidance. What do you need to know that's coming through for you? So, all in love and light for your highest good, of course. What do my pile 1s need to know? We have goodbye to the old, hello to the new. You've finished one part of your life and now a new, even better part is beginning. I love that. The lotus blossoming. Okay, let's pull a few more. We have emotional healing business venture. As your heart heals of old emotional pain, you receive new blessings and love. Trust and follow through on a new business idea or career opportunity. Wow, well, Millie's really loving the emotional healing one. Maybe that's the first step here. Okay, and let's just pull a couple more cards. We have affirmations and admit your true feelings to yourself. Okay, well, Millie, this is going to be a bit of a interesting card reading with your bum right there. All right, one moment, please. Okay, so as a card reader looking at this, I can't help but wonder if you've had some recent clarity around some new direction to move forward. As business venture comes through, I often find this talks about in our professional career. So you could be someone who owns your own business, or it could just be your time to move or transition from one company to the next. Either way, though, this does talk about trying to get out of some cycles or an old pattern that you might be finding yourself in. If you chose this pile, you might find that the job that you're in right now just doesn't quite align with you anymore. It might not be offering you the level of growth that you're wanting, or it might not be offering the same emotional fulfillment that it once did. I do feel like if you are watching this, though, whatever career or job title you had, at one point it was something you did truly enjoy, but you've just sort of outgrown it. You might have outgrown it, or you just might not have the emotional energy to keep up with that demand of the job, if that makes sense. So when I see admit to your true feelings to yourself and your current energy saying like you're intending well, you're trying to kind of make everything work in your life, but the current thing is just not quite honoring of your time and energy. Or like I was saying, like it could just be that you're in a really high stress or high paced job, and it's one of those jobs where people do it for a little bit, but eventually they just burn out and people will move into another phase after that. So I do feel like this is something you probably have already noted or have come into your awareness about this job or business adventure you're in. And I do feel like there is a bit of a messaging coming through saying that you might have gotten a bit of clarity over the holiday season, that now is a really good time for you to start moving in a different direction or to start going towards a different opportunity. When I see affirmations coming through, it says to lift up your thoughts and energy and to attract what you desire, use positive affirmations. This comes through when there's a bit of self-doubt arising within us and we're needing to remind ourselves and encourage ourselves that we have all the skills we need to get through this. We are ready for this opportunity. It comes in when we're going after something new, something different. And you do even have a card over here saying goodbye to the old, hello to the new. So this card does also talk about coming into time of less struggle and challenge. So I do feel like your ideas, where you're feeling called to go, is going to be less stressful and less taxing on your energy levels. So I would feel like this is something that you've been feeling quite called to do. Emotional healing. As your heart heals of old emotional pain, you receive new blessings and love. This one's quite interesting because it kind of makes me wonder if this pile, if someone here did actually come off a holiday, like a vacation time, and it was healing for you, you got some clarity that you were needing, perhaps you felt more grounded or more rested than you have in a long time, and this is what's encouraging this change and the motivation to create that change in your life. I do just want to pull some clarifying cards around it. What can you please clarify the emotional healing card? We have patience, please, and love life. Okay. Yeah, so I do feel like there was just a time for you to be a little more playful. You might have had some connections coming in that were feeling a little more nurturing. You might literally have had some time with your romantic partner that you haven't had in a long time, or just intentionality time where there was a lightheartedness. There was I just want to say like a joyous energy in general. Like you weren't talking about work, you weren't talking about stresses or finances. You were actually just having some time to just focus on the relationship and enjoying each other. If that wasn't the case, I do feel like this could be talking about having just that time with yourself. And I know that can sound a little funny, but I do feel like sometimes with the love life, I can see like our little parts of us, we're starting to feel like they were being more seen by ourselves, comforted, and we're getting the validation and the acknowledgement that they were needing from us. So you might have just had time to be more, once again, playful, lighthearted. You might have done some things that were just for you, perhaps like, funny enough, I keep saying like puzzle building. I don't even build puzzles, but it keeps coming up. Building puzzles, maybe doing little hobbies or little things that are literally just for joy and not productivity. You might have spent some time this holiday season or vacation season doing that. So I do just feel like that was actually really rejuvenating for you. And for the little parts of you. So really good job on that, on prioritizing that. So that is super awesome. I am just going to pull a few more cards here asking just to really clarify what actions are you being called to go towards. All in love and light in your highest good. So we have vegetarian. New wave eating gives you more energy, greater health, clarity, and stronger manifestation abilities. So there is a call for you to start doing things that are intentionally re-energizing for yourself, for your body. So setting up routines that help bring back some of that energy, that focuses on your health as being the number one thing. Let's pull a few more here. If you've been feeling called to eating less processed foods, often the vegetarian card, because these are quite old decks, come through as just like eating cleaner. So that is different for everyone, what that definition would be. But I usually see it as just in general eating less processed foods. Eating things that are fresh foods. Okay, look at that. All right, just to further confirm it, dietary change. So I definitely feel like somebody here has been thinking about how they need to improve their diet, which it says right here will improve your life and your energy that you have. So there's definitely some things coming through that if you've been feeling off, tired, depleted, not like yourself, and you know your diet hasn't been quite where it should be, you've got two cards saying change that first. Look at that first to find more of that energy again in your day to day. Also, we have your desires within reach. Have faith as everything is working in your favor. I really like this coming through because I might not have verbalized that, but everything in your cards was saying that this clarity, this idea you might have gotten over the last little bit, the last vacation days about the direction you want to head in is going to be a really good direction for you. There is a reason why you're feeling called to it. It is going to be more honoring of your time, your energy. And I feel like it's going to be less stressful. I keep getting that for somebody here is a less stressful future ahead. And like I said, self-doubt does come through. So just reminding yourself that you might need to intentionally say some encouraging things to yourself, like we've got this, a reminder that you've done this before, you've made it through challenging times, you're going to be good, you've got all the skills you need to take advantage of this opportunity, you know, all those great things. So do remember to be your best self-motivator. Be your number one fan. That's actually what I'm going to say. Be your number one fan. Eat right for yourself. Treat yourself good. And know that you're going to get to the goals that you're trying to set. So you just got to make sure you're taking care of yourself to get there. All right. I'm going to leave this pile here. And we're going to move into pile 2. Hello, pile 2s. So we have here 3 archetype cards that I just pulled for you quickly. It is seeming like you're in a bit of a frustrating, tricky spot. So we have in the upright a leadership card, a Samaritan card, which often talks about someone who just truly likes to help people out, who has a lot of compassion and empathy for others, who really does just want to be like a good leader in communities and society and workplaces. Really just like a stand-up person, like a good quality person is what I'm trying to say. But when the advocate comes up upside down, I feel like it's saying that you're feeling a little disempowered, or you're feeling like it's a little bit tricky to be able to make a difference or take like a helping role, which is interesting because it says like you're actually someone who typically is in a position of power to help make changes, but right now you're feeling like there isn't much you can do to help an injustice in the world or help those who are needing it. So that being said, let's pull some cards, just seeing what you need to know right now. All of Enlightenment for your highest good, of course. So first card we have for you is Hummingbird, Joy, which is probably not the card you expected. Trust, okay. Let's pull a few more here. Stability and transformation. Okay, so you know what? I actually want to pull 2 more cards, just asking for clarification around transformation. We have energy and we have growth. Okay. Very interesting. So joy, trust, stability. This makes me think about the energy themes of January. So whenever you're seeing this, pick a card reading. If you're watching as it just comes out, it would make sense that you're in the month of January or the start of February. And why I'm saying that is there's just a lot of things coming through about the challenges of the month ahead, of some world decisions and political choices that are happening that will make it a little bit hard to focus on your own joy, your own happiness, like the small wonderful things of life because of the challenges other people in the world might be going through right now. So this definitely does emphasize that this pile is someone who has a lot of empathy and compassion, but is struggling with feeling like there's just not much they can do to change what is unkind, or I feel like there's no one word that really summarizes that. There is nothing, there's like a desire to wish that you could create changes that you can't really create right now. So when I see joy and trust, this comes through strongly for me to say like, the one thing you can do is just try to keep yourself feeling as grounded and strongly rooted in yourself as possible. I know that is like the hardest thing to ask right now. It comes from a place of, if all your needs are met, your cup is full, your energy is also full, then that means that you're able to show up for others when there is an opportunity for you in a time of need, and you'll already be in that place of groundedness, of feeling whole, of feeling like you're ready to support. So it is very interesting. I just am getting so much encouragement that you just work on your own stability within yourself, within your own life, and trust that it is all going to work out, that when the time is right, you'll be able to advocate and make those changes and differences in the world that you're hoping to. But right now, it's just so important that you just really get tight on your self-care to make sure that you, like I keep saying, have all your needs met so that you can be of service when the time is right, when the opportunity does arise. You don't want to be in a place of depletion. You want to make sure you're taking care of yourself, that you are eating right, that you are sleeping right, you know, to the best of your ability. I know there is going to be a little bit of challenges there for this pile, as you do just have such a kind heart, but it's so important that you take care of yourself so that if there is an opportunity for you to help others in some way, you are going to have the energy for it and the emotional energy for it. So transformation, when I asked for 2 clarifying cards, we had energy and growth, which is really interesting. So energy, I see this card often as finding that balance, like having a lot of passion, having a lot of, sorry about that. My cat was literally eating a rock, apparently. I do feel like this is a time for you to start letting more of what you're needing to say or do for yourself to come through. I do feel like this is something that has been, I almost want to say been building up for a while. So there's something you've been wanting to voice. There's something you've been wanting to do that has been, for lack of better words, I do feel like there's some things that you've been keeping a little repressed within you that you've really been wanting to speak, voice, or have put out there. So I can't tell if this is like boundaries that you need to really set with someone, boundaries you need to set with a partner, family members, friends, a coworker, a boss, with the way a certain person's treating you. I'm not sure, but it comes through as there is a lot of energy behind it, and you're quite ready to essentially like grow is what comes through for that. Grow. Let those boundaries, let those standards be known. I also have to say that this pile might just be feeling like they've been pressured lately, and this could also be one of those messages coming through as you felt like you've been under a pressure cooker and now you're ready to take action and advocate for, I keep getting, I think it's for yourself, for your own boundaries, or for how something's been running at work or something like that. So I'm just going to trust that that makes sense to you, and we're just going to ask the cards if there's anything else that wants to come through before moving on to pile 3. We have prosperity, and we have courage, as well as passage, which is kind of an interesting one to come through. Whenever I see prosperity, it talks about the things we're going for being successful or bringing in a new sense of ease that we haven't had in a long time. So I really love that. I also love that in this card, this person is quite literally riding a bee, which talks about community and finding your people, finding your way. Courage, I do think this is something that this is going to require, because although I do feel like there is a bit of that passion energy or that pressure cooker energy that's been going on beneath the surface for you, I do feel like it's still going to take some courage to speak up, to say these things that you've been wanting to say that perhaps haven't felt safe or have felt like there could be consequences for you for saying them. So this could just look like saying something courageously that is going to create a lot of change in your life, which change can be really uncomfortable. And passage is interesting. So when I see this, it also makes me feel like there is a bit of a journey to go on. Like it won't just be you saying one thing and then it will be all over. I think it's going to be you saying something and moving towards a new direction in your life, or a new way of doing things, because it does feel like it is going to be a bit of a venture. Because like I said, with this pressure cooker energy, it's not just a truth that hasn't been spoken, it's like a change you want to see in the world, a boundary you want to set that's then going to lead you down a different path. So I am just hoping this goes well for you, that you are heard, and that you find the courage to create this change, because I feel like it's been here for a while for you, and you're really feeling ready to voice it. All right, I'm going to leave things here and we're going to move into pile 3. Hello, my pile 3s. So I have to say, all the archetype cards that have been coming through for each pile have a little bit of the similar feel to them, where people are feeling quite discouraged, and yours in some ways is feeling a little bit of this of similar lines. There we go. Where I have, like, when we see rescuer and goddess, it's someone who is very nurturing, very caring, who is very empathetic towards others. We have someone who wants to be able to support others in crisis, who want to show love and show that other people are precious and treasured. And then the Avenger comes through upside down, and it kind of talks about feeling a little bit like, how would I put this? It's like tricky to find the right words. It's almost like feeling like you won't be able to, like, I'm going to say revenge these people who have been hurt in the way they deserve. And I don't quite want to, I'm not quite sure if the word revenge is right, but you won't be able to get vengeance for the people who've been hurt in the way that they deserve. But this comes from like a mama bear kind of energy. You don't have to be a female, but it's kind of like that, like really someone who's feeling a lot of emotions. They really care. They're like seeing people who are struggling, and they're just feeling like that very maternal or parental anger, frustration towards the people who have put these other people in that place. So, you know what? As a card reader, looking at all the energy coming through in these piles, I'm kind of wondering what's going on in the world when you all are seeing this, because each pile is feeling upset towards actions of others. So that's a little interesting. I guess I'll find out in my future what's going on. But yeah, I have to say, pile 3s, you are not alone. Everyone is seeming to feel slightly different variants of the same sensation of frustration, or like there is something that isn't quite right in the world, that isn't being quite fair. So that being said, let's pull cards on guidance about what you need to know right now. Sorry, let me breathe. For some reason, I'm not breathing. Yeah, what do you need to know right now? Also, I have to say, all the piles feel super rushed and chaotic. So I'm not sure if that's my energy or just like an energy coming through for these piles. But if that is something that you've been feeling, maybe just take that as a confirmation that that is a weird vibe going on right now. Anywho, what do you need to know right now, my pile 3s? We have leadership. The card that fell out is Victory, which I feel like is really great. Also interesting that it's like the same color as the Rescuer card. Can't help but notice that. What else do you need to know right now? Outdoors, clairsentience. Okay, so this talks a lot about you intuitively knowing what is the right thing to do right now, and what you're feeling called towards is worthy of paying attention to. So if you're feeling like you really should be somewhere, or you should really be finding a way to, I don't know, say work with certain people, or help people in a certain way, I would start perhaps following some of those intuitions or intuitive nudges to just see where they lead you. I do like leadership and outdoors coming through. So leadership talks about this is a great time for you to I would almost say, like, if you're seeing something that is not right in the world, to almost speak up about it, but in that respectful, responsible, and clarifying way. Like when I see leadership come up in their upright position, it talks about using your voice and your wisdom in kind, compassionate ways to almost bring new perspectives to others, or even sometimes to help foster confidence in others as well, which depending on your situation might make more sense to you. But I do feel like it's like a time for you to speak the wisdom that you have and have it be received in a way that people can hear. So that is an interesting card. Outdoors does talk about spending more time getting a little more grounded. If you're feeling frustrated, if you're hearing a lot of news on TV, on your phone, taking some time to step away from it so you can get centered and refocused on just feeling calm, collected, and like yourself. Outdoors does come through when it's like you might not be quite feeling like yourself. You might feel like you're in a more sympathetic state than normal, and you might be longing or needing a little more time to ground and be away from stimulus. So that comes through as well. Victory, your prayers have been heard and answered. Have faith. So that one's really interesting because, like I said, when it came through the rescuer card, I do wonder if there's something going on in your life where it says you're trying to provide strength and support for others in crisis. And I think maybe literally you've been praying for help to come in for people or something like that. And I like the victory card says, like, your prayers have been answered. Like, I literally feel like this pile has been praying for something to come in for others to help them. And I just find it interesting that card comes through. So anything else my pile threes need to know? Maybe further clarifying this leadership card, get more clarity on what's going on there. Remember who you are. So that comes through very strongly again with that staying grounded and centered in yourself, taking that time to take a few slow breaths so that if you are someone who's currently in a position where people are hearing what you're saying or are really listening to you, that you're coming from that place of calm. And I keep getting peace because if you look at this person, they are holding up a sword, but it's in a very neutral position. It's not in an attacking way. It's in a very like, I have the talking stick way. Like, listen to what I have to say, but coming from a place of peace. So that's interesting. All right. And I also can't help but notice that card's the color of the third eye chakra, which talks about bringing your perspective, perhaps a more neutral perspective, maybe to these other people that are listening. So anything else you need to know? We have spiritual understanding. I'm bringing you esoterical information and symbols and helping you understand spiritual truths as well as career change. So your life purpose is triggering a blessed career change. That's quite interesting. Spiritual understanding, this card comes through when there's things in our life that we are just like, I don't understand quite why this had to happen this way, why it couldn't have happened a different way. Wasn't there a more harmonious or more loving and light way for things to come in? And it often comes in as, right now you might not have the clarity, but in future you'll see why I had to work out this way for everything to happen. And career change, I do feel like this is also attached to that leadership card. I'm not too sure what's happening for you in your life right now, pile threes, but I feel like there really is quite a turn of attention towards you. Like maybe on social media, people are starting to listen to you more, or perhaps you just are in a role at work or in your community where you do hold a bit of authority, but it is saying that this is going to actually change into a different position where you're going to have even more power and people are really going to be hearing you. So really, if there's one thing you're going to take from this is staying as grounded as you can, taking that time to regulate your nervous system, to make sure you're coming from a centered place. And I could sit here, keep noticing your reoccurring physical and emotional feelings as they signify divine guidance or intuitive nudges towards the right direction. So keep paying attention to what you're feeling called to explore, do anything you might be needing, like you physically are just like feeling like you are needing more air, or you're needing, sorry, I was thinking more fresh air or more water or something like that. Just listening to those as they come up. Okay, we'll pull one more card asking if there's anything else you need to know right now, because I do feel like there's some big things happening for you, pile threes. Clear your space. So get rid of clutter, clear the energy around you, and use feng shui. So this is what I'm saying. I think this is actually coming from having a lot of attention on you, a lot of eyes on you. Clear your space could literally mean taking intentional time to make sure you're cord cutting, you're making sure that any emotions you're carrying are your own and not others. Literally could be cleaning up your space if it's feeling cluttered or unsupportive to you. Take this as literally as you need to, but I do feel like there is quite that heightened bit of attention on you. So just making sure you are doing good. Your energetic hygiene, your emotional hygiene is up to par with the amount of attention that I think you're going to be getting. So I'm wishing you luck, kind of wondering what's going on for you, and wishing you the best at this time. And I'll catch you around another pick a card reading.